Give them a round of applause. Since we began this event many years ago, the Speaker of the House of Representatives has always been kind to be our co-sponsor at this event. So I'd like to introduce to you my co-sponsor and good friend, Speaker DeLeo.
Thank you so much, Rabbi, and thank you for joining us here today to mark this joyful annual event. It is my pleasure to be here to help host the Hanukkah menorah lighting. I'm delighted also, obviously, to be joined by Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Attorney General Healy, Treasurer Goldberg, Secretary Galvin, Senate President Karen Spilka, and Sheriff Tompkins as well. I'd also like to give a warm welcome to Israel's Consul General Zeb Boker for being here as well. I believe he is. Thank you. And I'm so glad to see so many of our state senators and state representatives, my colleagues in government, for their attendance here and attendance each and every year. I sincerely want to thank Rabbi Lieberman for leading the effort to continue this tradition. I know it's an evening that many people, myself included, have come to look forward to. This is my 10th time our office has sponsored this event, and I also like to give a special thank you to Ellen Quinn from my office who worked so hard to put this event together. Thank you, Ellen. Put together the events for Italian American Heritage Month and Hanukkah lighting, so I'm not sure with the Quinn, we might have to change that, I don't know. And we are so privileged to have the United States Navy being here with us today. We're so proud of our men and women in uniform. Thank you. And to be very honest with you, the event that I look most forward to, besides the lighting of the menorah, obviously, is the fact of the choir from the Solomon Schechter School. We're so happy to have your beautiful voices serenade us each and every year. Thank you. This holiday reminds us that there are miracles all around us. There will always be people brave enough to risk everything for what they believe in. There is light to be found through the darkness, and hope and faith triumph in the end. This is what makes, I believe, this holiday tradition so special, and I'm so glad and honored to be part of it. Thank you and happy Hanukkah.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for your continued sponsorship, for these wonderful, encouraging words. I also want to thank Ellen. She should stand up so everybody can see who she is, because she puts a lot of effort into this every year, together with other people in the office as well, particularly on the left. Catherine Williams was new this year, and some other new people. Seth Cattell, who's now the Chief of Staff, that worked very hard every year on this, and we thank you all for your efforts in this. Thank you again. It's happening in worse places, don't worry about it. Okay, we have another guest with us today, and it's the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Bill Galvin. He's coming to our event, I would say, for about 30 years, maybe, since the inception of this event. And he has seniority over everybody over here. He came to us when he was first a state representative, and now that he's been Secretary of State for a number of years, he's always made it every year to come to this event. I know he has another engagement, and he made the time to come tonight. So I'd like to introduce to you the Secretary of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Bill Galvin.
As the Rabbi noted, I have been here every year, and I'm very proud to have been here every year. I think it's a special privilege, particularly in my role as Secretary, where I have the responsibility to welcome people to this building, people who really come from around the world to see this magnificent building. But this building stands for our history as a state, as a Commonwealth. We have been a Commonwealth now for over 200 years. This building was begun over 200 years ago. And in fact, it has been the center of our government for that period of time. The reason I mention that is, I think it's so important that this celebration, this menorah, be lit here, right here, because it affirms our history as a Commonwealth in standing up for religious liberty. As all of you know, those who first came here were seeking religious liberty for themselves. That principle has been embraced by all of us in Massachusetts. We have been a beacon of liberty for those 200 years. I think it's especially important this year, as the Rabbi noted, when the practice of religion is once again under attack, when in particular the practice of the Jewish religion is once again under attack. That all of us, Jew and non-Jew, stand up and say once and for all, we protect and defend the right of every person to protect and to make sure that their religious practice can be continued. That is extremely important. It's extremely important that all of us stand and say that. It's extremely important that we affirm that here in the center of our government. So I'm proud to be with you tonight once again. I'm proud to wish you a happy Hanukkah. But I call on all of us once again to affirm our commitment to the protection of religious liberty. Thank you all.
Thank you, Secretary Galvin, for these meaningful and important words. I'm now going to call upon the Navy Band to play a tune for us. Navy Band.
You have to get this on TV. It just keeps going.
Thank
They do an excellent job. Thank you again. By the way, the director of the band over here is musician first class, Phil Martin. And the bandmaster, I saw him here, I don't know where he is. Are you here?
I'm over here, Rabbi.
There you are, okay, there you are. Lieutenant Boudreau. He conducted the band last year. He liked the event so much, he came back on his own this evening. Give a round of applause. There's many people I see that are here in the audience, and I see Councilor Flynn is here, and Councilor Flynn, the son of the former mayor of Boston, Ray Flynn, who we all know. Welcome, thank you for coming. Advocate, you see him many times on TV. He's a former Assistant Attorney General. Thank you for coming. Chief Salinas of the Cambridge Fire Department and of the Fire Academy. Mr. Paul was the director of the Massachusetts State Police in this metropolitan area. And I thank also the people that worked to help set this event up also in the superintendent's office, Tammy, the superintendent, Tyrone, director of operations, and the other people that helped to make this event successful every year. Thank you very much. I'd like to call upon our Chief Law Enforcement Officer, the Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, to say a few words. She's kind enough to come every year and join us. She used to actually be the Civil Rights Director, I think, many years ago, and now she's just re-elected again as Attorney General. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Rabbi Lieberman, for the wonderful program that you put together every year. Thank you to our incredible children's choir who share such beautiful music and song with us this afternoon. Thank you to Governor Baker, Lieutenant Governor Polito, Treasurer Goldberg, Speaker DeLeo, Senate President Spilka, our new Counsel General from Israel. It's great to meet him, to Secretary Galvin, and to all the members of the legislature. There's an outstanding showing of so many state representatives and senators who are in your house, the People's House, who day in and day out are there to make sure that the right policies and laws are in place to protect, yes, religious liberty and civil rights, public safety, and to take care of one another. So I want to thank all of our colleagues who are here doing the hard work and good work on behalf of people in their communities. There are too many things. One of our outgoing state representatives, Frank Smisek, who's here for his final in official capacity. Thank you, Frank, and of course, Senator Cindy Cream, as always, a presence here at the Senate. Tonight, we're here to celebrate one of the greatest blessings bestowed on the Jewish people, the miracle of light. Hanukkah teaches us all a lesson about the struggle for justice in the face of oppression. It reminds us that even in our most difficult hours, there are reasons to hope. As a rabbi once said, Hanukkah shows us that our role is not to curse the darkness, but to light a candle. I think about those lessons as we reflect on a difficult year, in a difficult time in our country and in our world. We think, of course, of the 11 people lost in the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh. We think about the so many Jewish communities and people that have been targeted for harassment and violence, not just in Pittsburgh, but all over this country over the last year, including some here in Massachusetts. But across the world tonight, What inspires and gives me hope, in addition to listening to these beautiful children, is to think about the fact that families are joining together, lighting menorahs, many of them passed on from generation to generation. Menorahs that have survived previously difficult, unimaginable even, heartrending times. Some were brought through Ellis Island, others were hidden in closets and attics during World War II. And all of them burned bright during many times of conflict and danger in our history. We got through those times just as we will get through this time, by coming together as community, through education, through the elevation of dignity and respect and tolerance for all of us in all of our forms, no matter your race, ethnicity, religion, gender identity, sexual orientation. All of us has something to contribute meaningfully to move us forward. I think about the opportunities for education amidst these times and the great work that so many of you and organizations are doing. Particularly as a civil rights chief, former civil rights chief, I so admire the work done by the ADL in schools around the state. I think about the importance of being there to stand up for what is right, to enforce civil rights laws as we will continue to do, and to make sure that we have the laws on their books to protect people here in our communities. And I think about, especially when I look around tonight, as the saying goes, that we're here to make sure that this year, that candle burns brighter than ever. It's a good year for it. It's an important year for it. That's what I am going to be thinking about this week. I'm going to be thinking about you guys, the children out there, what you represent in our future, and I'm going to be thinking about the generations that have come before and what they endured, what they persevered through, and what they made possible for all of us. Happy Hanukkah to all of you and to your families this season.
Thank you so much for these important words, and let's make sure that we actually keep these candles burning brighter this year than ever before. I'd like to call upon the Treasurer of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts to say a few words for us. I know her family for a long time. I knew her grandfather before I knew her, and she's been at our event every year. And I'd like to welcome you now to say a few words, Treasurer Goldberg.
Rabbi Lieberman, and thank all of you for being here tonight, especially the kids and their parents. No one has mentioned the parents, so mazel tov to all of you on their fabulous performance. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, the Speaker, the Senate President, the Secretary, the Attorney General, and anyone on this, all the legislators, of course. And I'm especially grateful that I want to mention Sheriff Tompkins, who's sitting in the second row. On Show Up on Shabbat, which we all know was a very difficult day, because we were all still in such shock and such pain, as we continue to be today, but particularly then. I went to my shul, Kehillah Israel. My kids are the 6th generation there, believe it or not, although my husband is an immigrant who was born in Ramat Gan. And who came to sit with me? Sheriff Tompkins and Auditor Bump. They were not looking for glory. They were not looking to necessarily speak. They were looking to be by my side to show us that people here in Massachusetts stand with us. And that is what the miracle is for us here tonight. There's a lot of darkness in the world, but we will be punching holes in that darkness. And there was a miracle that happened there. And miracles do happen. And we will persevere together. And as long as I know that I have partners who stand there by me, you know that you have someone fighting for you at all times. And that is the miracle that we have to look forward to. And I just want to wish you all Hag Yamim Sameach, Happy Hanukkah, and it should be a joyous 8 days. Thank you.
Thank you, Treasurer Goldberg. As long as you keep the Hanukkah gallons flowing, we're going to be okay over here. Okay, we'll all be right there, right after the menorah lighting. We have a long program, and I want to make it as short as possible because I know you want to see the menorah lighting, and everybody's wondering what's over here from the post office. But we're keeping everybody guessing what's behind the curtain. We're going to get there shortly. Anyway, I'd like to introduce to you now the President of the Massachusetts Senate. And this is the first time she's joining us at this wonderful event. I remember a few years ago when she became Chairman of Ways and Means, I think it was, am I correct? And I stopped by her office to invite her over, and she said, I can't make it. But she had a good excuse. She said, I'm going to be in Israel for Hanukkah. So I said, okay, you're forgiven. But now we're happy that you're here to join us. And Senator Snuka is the first Jewish female president of the Massachusetts Senate. Give her a warm welcome.
Thank you. I am so honored to be here tonight to recognize this is technically the second night, first day of Hanukkah, alongside all of my colleagues and friends from around the state. Thank you, Rabbi Lieberman, for organizing this again. It's a great night, and it's a great crowd that's here to celebrate Hanukkah. Thank you to the governor, lieutenant governor, the speaker, and for your office for hosting it and all the time put into this. Secretary Galvin, A.G. Healy, Treasurer Goldberg, Consul General, it's great to see you. Secretary Pollock, it's great to have you here as well. Sheriff Tompkins, all of the senators that are here and the reps, thank you so much. And I just am so happy to see all of you. I do want to thank the Navy Band. That rendition, the Dreidel Hanukkah rendition, that was great. If I had known it was going to be, I mean, I should have known it was going to be so good, I would have taped it. Thank you so much for that melody. And also, thanks so much to the Schecter Choir for your beautiful voices and for lifting our spirits. Todah. Thank you. As a child, this holiday was one that I looked forward to every single year. One that meant the Festival of Lights, the gifts. As a kid, I have to acknowledge the gifts and the presents were a big deal. And the celebration with family, and that was even more important. It was always a family time. I continued this tradition with my children once we had kids and growing up, and lighting a Hanukkah menorah, so that actually the one that I bought that's really special to me, many years ago, I was at an antique store right next to the Anne Frank house, and it had this antique brass menorah that I bought for my grandparents, packed it up in newspaper, put it in the bottom of my backpack, and trucked around Europe with this heavy menorah in the bottom of my backpack, which I gave to my grandparents when I came back, and then it went to my mom, and now it's our menorah. So it's a very special tradition. As an adult, I have found a deeper meaning in the menorah that we light tonight. For millennia, we have retold the story of the Maccabees' brave fight for religious freedom, and how out of that fight came a marvelous beacon of light that lasted longer than anyone could have expected. It strikes me that, in many ways, Hanukkah is the right holiday to be celebrating in this historic space. under the Golden Dome that the nation and the world has continually looked for to be a similar beacon of hope, freedom, resilience, and light. We illuminate these lights tonight in celebration of the season, but it's also a reminder of the past. In the Jewish faith, there is a proud tradition of lighting the menorah as part of being a big group, or in a visible space for all to see. The idea is that the light isn't just for those lighting the candles, but that it serves as a shared source of inspiration and happiness for everyone in the world. I'd like to quote a statement given today by Barbara Underwood, the Attorney General of my home state of New York, because when I read it, I felt like it succinctly summed up Hanukkah. She wrote, "Tonight, on this first night of Hanukkah, let us remember what we are celebrating. That our freedom is miraculous. That we must guard it and tend the flame. That our ancestors were once the targets of persecution and discrimination. And that we cannot allow that in our time. So as we light this candle, whatever your faith may be, may these candles inspire us. May they bring us hope, may they bring us joy, and may they bring us a lot of light. Chag Yom Sameach, Happy Festival of Lights."
Thank you very much, Senate President. Those words that you told us from the New York Attorney General really are heartwarming. And I hope one day you're going to show me that menorah that you talked about as well. I'm going to ask the Navy Band to play us a short tune, and then we'll continue with our program. Navy Band.
Thank you.